Girlfriend of 5 years suddenly broke up with me. To begin, I just wanted everyone to know that this is my very first post on Reddit. I specifically made an account just to vent about this specific situation, and I appreciate all the help. I also apologize if this ends up being very long, but it helps me to talk about it. So to begin, my girlfriend of 5 years dumped me about a week ago. When she said we need to see other people, it hit me hard because not even 2 days before this she was telling me how much she loved me, how she couldn't wait to spend so much time with me, how she couldn't wait to see my family who live in different states and we don't get to see much, how she wanted to grow old and die together. During the breakup, I had to ask her why she all of a sudden changed her mind about me. She listed everything from A to Z on why she thinks we needed to break up. She said, because we have polarizing personalities, she thinks that if we get married it'll end up in divorce. I didn't try hard enough for her, she deserved better, I disrespected her family, etc. At first this made me really upset because I believed her, but later, after friends and family talked to me, that convinced me that it all sounded like excuses, and she really didn't want to tell me the real reason. Now, I wanted to give you guys a background about me and this girl's relationship throughout the years to give you an understanding of just how in love me and her were and what went wrong. So, like I said, her and I have been boyfriend and girlfriend for 5 years. It started in our sophomore year of high school. Right away, me and her hit it off very, very well. As the years progressed, we did all the usual things the couples would do, such as go to our high school football games, go to movies, amusement parks, the zoo, etc. When college came around, this was when things started to get challenging for our relationship. She had earned a scholarship to play soccer for a university that was out of state, while I decided to remain in our home state and go to college here. I wanted to stay in my home state because I was always told it wasn't a good idea to follow your girlfriend to college just in case you broke up. However, I believed with all my heart that we were never going to break up, so I came up with the solution to drive 6 hours every weekend with her dad to see her play soccer. I was already used to driving in a car for a long period of time because most of my family is from out of state, so this wasn't a big deal for me. Also, when summer came along, she would be back home so I could see her more often. This is basically what my life consisted of for the next 3 years. Along the way, me and her grew closer and closer because we would miss each other so much. And she was struggling to make friends in college, so I was always there for her. We eventually started talking about marriage, kids, and getting a house after we graduate. We had a few fights here and there, but none of them were shouting matches, and we would even make up right after them. We never left each other angry. Now, towards the end of our sophomore year of college, this is where things started to get very challenging. She had torn her labrum in her right leg, so she was now sitting out the remainder of her sophomore year, which made her very stressed about her playing time and her scholarship. Not to mention COVID hit, so when she came back in town over the summer, there wasn't much for us to do, which meant we got very bored. Junior year comes around and everything is still good. We still love each other so very much and still want to get married and have kids. My family even decided to take her on a vacation to Hawaii, which was set for June of this summer. Of course, we never ended up taking her because of the breakup. We had all these plans like going to see my family from other states, going to the zoo, working out with each other every morning, and much, much more. Also, each one of us had family members that were getting married this summer. My cousin and her sister. She was formally invited by my cousin for her wedding, and I was invited as a +1 to her sister's wedding. Her sister's wedding was coming up soon, and they decided to have a co-ed wedding shower, which I was invited to. Right away, I knew this was going to be trouble for me, because I had never been to a wedding shower before because they are usually for women. So the day of the shower comes around. I get to my girlfriend's house and she is stressed because she is the maid of honor and she wants everything to go smoothly. We drive early to the location to set up, and me and her are not happy with each other. Everyone shows up and everyone is having a good time except for me and my girlfriend. Now I'll admit I was not in a good frame of mind that night. I had a raging headache and I do not do well in situation where I don't know a single person. The only people I knew were her immediate family, her sister, and her fiancé. So I told her that I was uncomfortable being around people I didn't know much about. And even further, I was upset that her sister didn't thank me for the gift I got her. The biggest thing I took from that night was how we barely said a word to each other. But when we finally did, we apologized to each other and she specifically said, "Can we please leave this behind us?" In which I replied, "Yes, of course." Now the next day was the bachelorette party. I wake up that morning to a good morning text from her with a kissy emoji like usual, which is very assuring because that means that everything is okay. And I replied good morning back. I also sent her a Snapchat. This is very important to remember. For the remainder of that day, I did not hear from her. And I did not want to bother her because I knew she was going to be busy and having a good time. However, I still missed her incredibly because we just had big fight the previous day. A little later that day, I tell a friend that I need to get out of the house because staring at my phone waiting for a reply from her all day would drive me crazy. We get invited to another friend's house to watch a UFC fight. Time passes and we are having a good time. Later, as I am driving me and my friend home, I told him during the car ride, "Dude, I feel really uneasy about my girlfriend. She usually tells me if she is going to be busy all day." My friend replies, "Don't worry about it. She's at a bachelorette party. She's probably having a good time. She'll probably text you goodnight." Well, 1 a.m. rolls around and I haven't heard from her. So me being frustrated, I sent her a night text. The next morning rolls around and I actually woke up at 5 a.m. because I was super nervous about her, and I still don't have a text. 9 a.m. hits and I finally get a "we need to talk" text, "meet me at the park at 10 a.m. I knew it from there that this was the end. I was having a panic attack. My dad had to hold me down to keep me still. I was bawling my eyes out. Me and my dad decide to go on a walk to calm me down. Then 9:30 hits and he drives me to the park and I waited for her, and that's when she shows up to break my heart. The breakup was very tough. She did not let me down easy. It was a "we are breaking up and it is all your fault" sort of deal. I told her that I was worried sick about her yesterday because I hadn't heard from her all day, and she said that the reason why she didn't talk to me was because she was waiting for a response from me all day. I found this to be really strange because I did send her a good morning text and sent her a Snapchat, which she read both of them, and she was posting all over her story that day. She came up with more excuses like I mentioned before, like how I didn't love her family even though I went on family vacations with her, helped do cleaning at her grandparents' house, drove in a car for 6 hours every weekend for 3 years with her dad and occasional her mom. She told me that we were drifting apart even though she told me she loved me 2 days ago. She told me I didn't try hard enough for her even though I took her to the zoo, baseball games, football games, hockey games, fishing, shopping. Bought nearly every date we ever went on. She paid for maybe 3 dinners the whole time we went out, and I took up 2 jobs just to afford her more things. After her telling me it was all my fault, I told her, "Okay, fine. I have no regrets." Then I left her. Now, unfortunately, the story isn't over. After she left me, I wanted to better myself, so I decided to go the gym more often. Unfortunately, I forgot that she goes to the same gym as me, and we like to go at the same times because that's when the gym is the least busiest. So I was going to the gym and she would still be there and I would see her. We wouldn't talk to each other or make eye contacts at first. A couple days go by and I decided to walk up to her just to say hi, and we finally sat down at a nearby park to talk. We still decided not to get back together. Fast forward, my cousin who is getting married, who lives in another state, heard about our breakup and felt so bad for me that she invited me to come up during her wedding shower and hang out with her friends, and her fiancé. We went out, got drinks, and had a good time. After that small weekend up there, I came home and I was in a much better state of mind. However, I still decided to go to that same gym at that same time. A couple more days pass and me and her are trying to be friends. We are saying hi to each other at the gym constantly and making small talk. One day I am receiving tons of Snapchats from her and I'm thinking to myself, "This is awesome, she wants me back." The next day I'm at the gym and she comes up to me and tells me she wants to talk. We go back to her car and she immediately breaks down crying and tells me that she misses me, loves me, and still wants to be together. I agree with her and we were back together. The rest of the day goes by and we are constantly talking to each other just like before. The next day comes. I wake up early to go on a run with her. Then I go to the gym without her because she had to prepare for her sister's wedding, which is the next day. Not even 2 hours later, I get a call from her crying, telling me that she doesn't think we belong together. At this point, I was really mad, not so much towards her, but myself for thinking it would work out, especially since all my friends and family members told me not to talk to her anymore. I finally told her over the phone, "Don't talk to me ever again." Then she hung up on me, and I have not seen or heard from her since, and she's blocked me on all social media. 5 years totally gone. All the things I ever did for her, and all the things she ever said to me, totally gone. And according to her, it was all my fault. The thing that bothers me the most is that I could have had a high school sweetheart. At this point, I have no idea what to do with myself. I spent so much time with this girl and now it's all gone. I'm very thankful to have such a loving family and friends who have been there to support me. Fortunately, my dad had a similar, if not worse, situation compared to mine, so I was able to relate to him. But I wanted to see if anyone had any advice for me. I still love her and miss her so much, and it's painful. Also, there is a lot more that goes to this story, so if anyone has questions, feel free to ask. I'd love to talk about it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe.